Korea, there is no such a thing as children's menu or children's food.
All right, are allergies in Western countries worse than they are in other countries? I'm Dr. Imam. I'm a board certified allergy doctor and obesity doctor, and I'm going to make this video a second time to avoid any confusion. This first study does show that we do appear to have worse allergies here in westernized, industrialized countries compared to other countries. Not just food allergies, allergic rhinitis, hay fever, eczema, and asthma. In this study, they're looking at kids that are born elsewhere compared to kids born in the US. They find that kids born in other countries tend to have less allergies, but that gap narrows the longer they live in the US, meaning those that lived here for more than a decade were much more likely to have allergies compared to those who've lived here for only 2 years. This study showed that children of immigrants tend to have more allergies than the immigrants themselves. I can tell you from personal experience as an allergist, it's super common to see people from other countries come here and their kids have allergies, but the parents have never seen allergies before, nor have the grandparents, etc., etc. However, in general, allergies are rising across the board across all industrialized countries. They just might manifest differently in other countries. For example, if you look at the worst food allergies in Western countries like Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and the US, you'll see that tree nuts and peanuts are the highest on the list. Egg and cow milk is higher in Latin America. European countries follow us with tree nuts and peanuts, but Asian countries tend to have more allergies with shellfish and much less tree nut and peanut allergy compared to shellfish allergy compared to us. Okay, so why do we have worse allergies, hay fever, eczema, food allergies, asthma, compared to the possibility of other countries? And by I say we, I mean westernized countries. So I mean European countries, I mean the US, I mean Australia, and I mean New Zealand. One possibility is vitamin D deficiency, that the migration patterns are affecting how kids absorb vitamin D. So that's one possibility. Okay, these are all hypotheses, so these are all just possibilities. Okay, second possibility is increase in eczema, and more of the food allergies are coming in contact with the skin. The environment in which an allergen comes in contact does change how it reacts to the allergen. So eating something is more likely to build tolerance to it, and if it comes into contact through the skin barrier, you're more likely to become allergic. So that's the dual exposure hypothesis. The false alarm hypothesis is that essentially we have more ultra-processed foods in our diet that might be causing inflammation and allowing proteins to pass through the gut barrier that wouldn't have passed through intact, and therefore we develop an allergy to the food. We also could develop an allergy via inhaled particles, so you can become allergic to shrimp through dust mites or cockroach allergy because it has a similar protein, or you can become allergic to different foods through pollen allergy. So as we have increased climate change, CO2 levels, the pollen seasons are longer, you're more likely to develop an allergy to the pollen. That allergy to the pollen can translate to a food allergy. Next, we got the hygiene hypothesis, which people think means we're too clean, but it's not we're too clean. It means our microbiome has been wiped out by certain things we've been doing to clear out the bad bacteria. And with damaged microbiome, we have evidence that it changes how we process foods and increases the risk of food allergies. In fact, if you take a mouse with no gut bacteria, almost every food you feed them, they become allergic to it. Now, several of these factors are outside somebody's control, but if you want to decrease the risk of food allergies, you want to decrease the exposure through these various mechanisms. So breast milk is very good for your microbiome. It has HMOs, which are human milk oligosaccharides, which feed the gut bacteria of the baby and hopefully decrease the risk of food allergies in the future. Not feeding kids things that could disrupt their microbiome or damage the gut wall means avoiding ultra-processed foods as long as you can. If a child has eczema, trying to control the eczema aggressively with emollients, moisturizers, things like that, so as little of the protein can pass through the skin barrier as possible. And then there's always genetics, and there's a lot of environment we just can't change. We can't change the pollution. We can't do anything about the CO2 levels right now as individuals. So as of right now, these are the best you can do that we know of, and maybe in the future we'll have more advice on how to decrease the risk of food allergies, hay fever, other things like that. Okay, hope that helps.